Hello and welcome to another live video with me, Tom, at Decadev. So previously I made a Figma live design from a dribble inspiration sort of thing. So I figured, well, that's great, but how do we actually make this into a web page for a start? How do we do that? Well, the way how it's been designed allows us to go, well, this is the body. Here's a container. I've got a hero section and navbar and stats, and this is a web page. So in essence, even if we just thought logically, we could kind of make a new directory. I don't know. I'm Tom. Let's lead into it. And we could literally just open up VS Code in this directory and start just working on what it says on there. Just make that structure first. So let's think about that. I want an index.html. Index.html. I'm literally just going to have it go, okay, well, we've got this thing. Call it that. So we know we've got a body. So that's cool. The body's there. It's got a fill or a background of this. So what I want to do is, this is not a problem because we can kind of give it a style. But it depends entirely what we want to style it with and how we want to deal with that. Just because I don't want to be making loads of CSS files all over the place or do anything like that, I'm going to actually be using something called Tailwind.css. Let's say CDN because I want to just get it straight into the HTML page. Let's have a look. We have a CDN here. So let's literally take that script and copy it in. I'll be linking this in the description as well. So here we can just add it into the head so that we've got Tailwind CDN. Now we're able to use Tailwind classes. So I could say class equals, let's say BG dash red, just for a laugh. Okay. And say like H1, hello world. Yeah. Let's save that. Now I'm going to just use a simple plugin called Go Live. Let's take a look. It's got a red background. How cool is that? Now, we know that we want a background of this specific color. So I'm going to copy this. And instead of BG red 500, I'm going to actually put this in some brackets and do a hashtag that and save it. Now if I look, it's got that background. So that's how simple it is. We've got a body with a class of the background color we want. So that's literally pretty much done the body. That's it for now. We can mess with this and do other things as we want, but in general, that's the body. So now we've got this little green background here. Now somehow we've got this container, some gray background here. So if we look at container, it's got F1, F1, F1 as the background. So we can do something similar here. We can go, okay, well, I know I want a container. Yeah. So for now, that's going to be a div. I don't know, something. And then give it a class name. And the class I want to use is going to be background color again, BG of something. And the something is going to be this F1, F1, F1. So hashtag F1, F1, F1. And take this hello world and just pop it inside the container for now so we can see it. Now if I take a look, we've got the container. It's not a very pretty container. It's not, we've got some styling issues here we need to deal with, but it's the correct color and the background of the body is the correct color. So that's kind of a good starting point. We've kind of pulled out all the things that we need. We've got that. Now we've got some more bits. We've got like a nav bar. So the nav bar's there. We've got this hero section. We've got the stats. I think nav bar probably here. Just for that way I've done body container. Nav bar is probably the next thing to do. So I'll just make a nav bar. So let's do that next. So inside our container, we want a nav bar. Do I want this to be a div? You know what? I'm going to do a div and just put like another div for this. So if I break down the nav bar, let's look. We got a nav button, social, nav bar background, logo. It's got logo. So let's make this div here. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I want this inner div to be the logo, right? So for the logo, what do I want? I want it to have a TT. Okay, TT. Let's save that and let's have a look at what it looks like so far. Yeah, there we go. Look how cool that looks. It looks exactly the same as the picture, right? Well, maybe not, but that's fine. So I also want a couple of links to the left. So let's say that this is the what else do we want? Do we want all this in one place? Let's look. We've got a nav button. We got the links. So links is there, but then we got social. So we got two different sets of links here, all inside this one div. Yeah. So we can look at it in this way. If it's encapsulated in, then it's its own div. So we've got another div called social and links. So I'm gonna have my links one first here because we've already got the logo one. So now I'm going to make a new div. Again, I'm just using divs at this point, but we can change those out for more meaningful things as we go. So the next one's going to have two links. Let's have a look. So we go to links. We've got a portfolio link and an about link. Yeah. So about and portfolio. So inside this div, we want a times two. One's about, one's portfolio. Yeah. So let's do that. Let's say about. And then portfolio. Okay, let's save that. Again, it's not going to be styled, so we just got the content just building up as we go. And we just keep heading on to this. We've done that. Now we've got one more div to do after for the next lot of links, which is our social. So I'll just make a new div. Inside that div, we're going to have three links, so a times three. Yeah. And this time we're going to have, what is it? Our first one is Twitter. Second one will be YouTube. And our third one's going to be LinkedIn. Super simple. Okay, so I'll save that. Content will change. And we've got a few more links. Like I say, it's not exactly pretty yet. It doesn't look anything like the actual final piece, but I'm just getting this thing and the content done. We'll be starting in a moment. So now we've got this button. Now the button could be anything. It could be like a simple one would just be a div again. Yeah, I'm just going to be ridiculously generic. You wouldn't do this in a real production state, but just because, just to give you an idea of the general flow and what we've got. So now we've got another div, and this one's going to be our button. Now, what does the button say? The button says, "Hire me." Okay, so let's do that. Let's go over here, grab this. Does that need to be in there? Yeah, that's the correct place. So now, hire me. Save that. Again, if we look at it, looks pretty abysmal, doesn't it? It's like what these are like links. That's some sort of thing saying hire me. Could be anything. This could also be a tag or it could be whatever. You know what I mean? It's just something right now. So now we've pretty much got the content of this. Now we need to think about, well, what do we want to do to this to make it right? Or what do we want to do to the out part first? So first off, let's work backwards a little bit and say, well, what else do I want my container to kind of have as an attribute? Maybe I want it to be, I don't know, let's say height 100 VH. Let's see what happens when I do that. Let's see. So we now have covered it. But if I now say P10, well, let's say P20 just for the hell of it. No, let's say P4 should be. Let's look. Okay, we've got some padding. Great. How about I change that to M4? Oh, look. All of a sudden, we got that nice little outline like this. Yeah. So, I mean, we could look, we could zoom in and figure out exactly how many pixels that actually is. Do you know what I mean? Differences in size and things like that. So that's another, if you want it to be exact, but in reality, I'm just eyeballing at this point. So imagine we've got the body, which is 1024 or 440. It looks like it's 20 pixels. Yeah, literally 20 pixels. So I just guessed correct-ish. I think that's about 20 pixels. Yeah, I don't know. We can do it. We can go with pixels if we want. So instead of margin 4, let's see, I can do 20px. It's slightly different then. It's probably 18 then. Okay, so now we got it to the actual 20 pixel size. That's awesome. So we got this, but if you'll notice from over here, we got a bit of a rounded sort of way of doing things here. And the fun thing is we can say rounded. Let's try medium and see what happens. If not, we'll move to large and stuff like that. Let's say we've now got our rounded bit here. If we take a look, it's pretty much, I think I want it more round. Let's do LG. Again, just eyeballing at this point, but I don't know whether that's going to be okay. XL. Not much in it really, but that is it works. It's doing its thing, isn't it? So now we got the rounded bit done. Yeah. It's not perfectly rounded in the same way because we're quite zoomed in here, so I suppose that's a bit different. But and that one's very sort of taut, whereas this automatically got a rounding, so it's kind of a bit slightly different. But now I'll call it that. That's good enough for what I want. So the next thing is this div here is the actual navbar here. So a couple of things I'm going to want with that. Let's think. We want a background of white, let's say. So BG white. So now we've got a white background on this one. Yeah. Again, this one's to have a rounded. Let's try it. I'll do pixels. Woohoo. There we go. 50 pixel rounded. Perfect. It's rounded. Same way the thing is. Yeah. Obviously, it's too long at this point. So we can change the width. We'll start with 90% and work my way around and see what it looks like. So look, so 90%. Let's 90% it, but full screen it to see what it actually looks like, because obviously it's going to be okay. That might be a bit big. Let's double check the Figma one. I don't know. Let's see. We got about the same. I'm going to eyeball it as just under the width of these two, sort of thing. So if I look at it, I'm going to be wanting to lower that size down. Okay. So let's have a go at this. Let's say 80% first. Look, if I divide that by 2, yeah, not too bad, I suppose. Yeah, divide that by 2 and space in the middle, so that'll do. I mean, you can always tweak it a bit later. So at this point, we've now got kind of the right size, but it's kind of not exactly where we want it. So I'm going to just say flex. Look how crazy that's gone. It's like, holy crap, that's like full height. So we want to kind of decide on a height as well. So for now, I'm going to say H, not big enough. That'll do. How cool's that? Bit of experimentation, just feel for it, sort of thing. Maybe I want a margin top at this point. Maybe not. I don't know. What do I want to do? Margin top. Margin top seems to be pushing it up rather than sort of like going anywhere. So we've got that, but now what I want to do is I want to like pull this down. So I'm going to do this. Can I do sticky? Whoa. Okay, so that's kind of good. It's sticky and it's got a top of so much. Yes, that's good. So do 16 and see what that looks like. How far do I want it down? So I want it a little bit less than that then. Let's take a look. Let's say I'll try 10 to start with. Bit too little. Maybe 15, 12. Let's try 12. Not 12, but that'll do for now. That's cool. Um, hmm, justify center. Oh, look, we now have it centered. Let's have a look. That doesn't look too bad, really. Obviously, the wording is way off, but the actual sort of circle thing itself and all the bits and stuff starting to look a bit like it. Now you see this drop shadow here, right? So what can I do for that? Now, one way of finding out is go to the Tailwind CSS, yeah, and look for the docs, yeah. So let's have a look at the docs. Template screen, the playground installation, edit setup. Do I have a reference? Documentation. Don't want getting started. I want the actual documentation, but I want the. Can we do? I'm sure there's a search box. There we go. So what do I want? I want shadow. So we've got box shadow. So all it says box dash shadow or shadow. Here we go. Shadow medium. Let's try a shadow medium and see what that looks like. So let's take this and give it a shadow medium. Oh, look, we just happen to have pretty much a good little match there. Maybe a bit darker, I don't know. Let's do shadow LG then and see what that looks like. I think I prefer the medium. How cool is that? Yeah. So that's close enough. It's not quite as dark as that, but we can play about with it at some point. But for now, that's cool. So it's got some examples of what it might look like. You can add inner shadow, you can remove the shadow completely, you can do focus states and everything. That's cool. None of which what we're too bothered with at this point. But now we've got this at least this actual nav bar here without the items being looking correct, but we've got that working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press enter here and go to the end of line and enter here. So this is I'm kind of separating it out into its things. So we got this is the logo part. Underneath that, we've got our bunch of links. Bringing them down so I can see them easier on the page. Then take these links and kind of do that. Take these links and kind of do this. And tab them in a bit, just to kind of give some sort of structure here so we can see what's going on. Interesting. At this point, we've got that ended, and then I've got this one here. That doesn't look quite right, does it? I've got an extra div, haven't I? 1, 2. Hang on, have we not got... Okay, these need to come down here. That's why. I was thinking I've got an extra div for no reason, but that's just because I didn't put them in the div. So now we've got the hire me, that's cool. We've now got kind of the structure as to we can see where things are. So this is our logo. So let's start working on the logo. Let's say class equals, we'll say rounded. Let's try Excel and see what that looks like. Yeah, we're not going to find that out without giving it a background first, aren't we? BG. Let's think BG is going to be the same as body. So we're going to copy this for BG. Oh, look, it's rounded. I kind of want my width and height to be the same. So let's say W4H4. Not very big. So now let's try 10 and 10. Not too bad. Maybe a bit bigger. 14. 14. We'll go with that. Rounded. 50 pixel. Oh, look, it's round. Woohoo. And we'll say flex. Doesn't really flex too well. Right. In that case, since it's already flex, I'm going to say empty 2 and see what happens. No. Padding top 2. It's looking better. Padding top 3. Is 4 too far? I'll go with 4. And then PL 4. Oh, look, we've kind of, can we do PL 5? Is that too far? Damn. Might have to do pixels. Because if I say 4, 3, 4. Even more fun. Text center. There, even better. There we go. Do text center. So now we've just bumped it down a bit and we've centered the text. Maybe I want font bold. Let's double check that. You're near enough. Yeah. There's some minor discrepancies there, but it'll do for now. So now we've got kind of the general idea. We also now want to go, okay, well, the problem here is the actual thing here isn't quite right. So what I want is the div that's holding this. Yeah. Let's say flex first. Then we'll say padding 4. Maybe a bit less. Padding 3. There we go. Look at that. So now our sort of thing here, it's in a bit more padding left. Or I could even say ML2. I'll take a quick look. That's fairly well in. Is it too far in? Yeah. Again, I'm eyeballing at this point. Let's double check by. Yeah, it's close enough. Like I say, I'm just kind of eyeballing at this point. We could actually be measuring and doing loads of stuff, which would be good if it was a fixed size. If you want it to be kind of slightly more robust and flexible, we can't go with fixed sizes because what will happen is you'll end up with exact size and great for that screen. And then when you change screen sizes, it's going to be absolutely abysmal and an absolute mess. So at this point, I'm just eyeballing it and getting it looking about right. And then we can kind of tweak it later on and make it a bit nicer. I'm looking at more MVP than anything else at this point. Right, so what have we done? We've kind of got the logo for our purposes. Next is going to be the links. So class. And the links should be fairly straightforward. It's not like rocket science at this point. So let's think. Let's try flex. That sticks them together. That's fine. Gap 4. Let's double check the gap. But B-O-U-T, let's say. So I'm looking, not really same amount of gap here. Let's do a gap 6 and see what that looks like. Gap 8. That's about looking like the width. Now, bearing in mind this is a 1440, so I'll probably only want, can I do a 5? I think. So we'll go 6. So we'll do a flex with the gap 6, right? So now we kind of got that. Now what I'm going to do is align. Well, actually, no. Itself. Self-center, that's not. So now it's nicely centered. I'll say ML 6 and see what that looks like. How much margin left do I need? That is about the same amount of space between that and that. So I suppose we could say that's right. Now we can kind of do a similar sort of thing. Let's just copy this. Pop it in here. Oh, I should have done the actual classes. Oh, look, we kind of got that. Now, my margin left of 6 isn't quite right at this point because if we take a look, there's quite a chunky, what's that? If that was 6, 12, 18 or 24 or something, let's try an 18. See what that looks like. Not really having it. 18 doesn't exist. How about 16? 16 is not quite there. 20. Double check. Portfolio, maybe 2 portfolio. 1, not really. 24. Now, hard to tell without. Again, this is eyeballing at this point. 2 times that. Okay, cool. So I'm saying that'll do eyeballed. Can mess about with it and do a bit better later. Let's have a look. No, so 24 is probably around about a sweet spot there. So now that we got that, we're now going to hire me. What can we do here? Self right, is that a thing? No, not self right. Sorry, class. We can do flex end, I suppose. Self end. Whoa, not that kind of end. So this will be self center because this is actually talking about that. Okay. So next, I kind of want to think about, well, hang on, I've got this flexed. Where's the outer part? This one's actually giving me a shadow small. Is this even flexed? It's got flex. Okay. Let's say flex. Let's standardize the gap first. Yeah. Whoa. Let's not do that though. It kind of did what I want, but no. What I'm going to say is justify between. That's a bit better. Now, slight issue here. Yeah. So if I do justify between, it kind of works, but it doesn't work in that sense. Okay. But what we could do, let's see what happens if I add like a flex one. And then under that, a flex one. And then a flex one. For now, I'm just going to keep adding flex ones. And a flex one. Doesn't really work, does it? So we're not going to do that. I'll just, we can play about with the flex numbers, but I'm just trying a few different things just to show you possible options and the thought process that would go into these things. So at this point, I can nudge things around and make them sort of how I want them, I suppose. So I don't want to justify between. So what I would want is realistically this to be kind of somewhere a bit close to the right. So what I could theoretically do a couple of ways with this self-center. Uh, Can I justify end on this? No. I need to kind of give this maybe a relative. If I give a relative and then I say right 0, can I do that? No. Absolute with the right 0. That's cool. So now I can say right 2, which is cool. So right 10, which is even cooler. Yeah. Now, if I give it a right 10 and a padding 20, what does that do? Hard to tell. Oh, even more fun. That's a bit crazy. Right 8, padding 6. Looks interesting. Now what I want to do is give it a background color of the same as this one. So let's grab this one, copy it, and we'll start playing about with it. It's easiest to do when we can kind of see the background color. So cool, we've got that. That's not that bad. Um, there we go. And a PY2. Bit more. PY4. Little bit off, damn it. 14. Slowly just edging it up and edging it up until I eventually get it. So let's try 12 pixel. That's looking about right. Like I said, I'm just eyeballing at this point, but it's cool. Uh, rounded, or rounded. Hi, mate. How cool's that? Now we take a look. We've got, hi, mate. I want that bold. Hi, mate. Probably not, but is there a way of getting this a bit bigger, like semi-bold? Might just be font semi or something. I don't know. Where's Tailwind gone again? Let's go font. Font weight. There we go. Let's look. Semi-bold. So it is semi-bold. Let's try that. Check it out. Hmm, that'll do. I'll do the same for the top one as well now. There we go. Okay, so we've got Hire Me, we've got Twitter, LinkedIn stuff. Let's have a look at what it actually looks like if we add it a bit more. Let's zoom out a bit and take a look size wise. So 1, 2, 3, almost double the width there. That's there. Kind of a bit off there, I think. Hard to tell with the overall, but I'm thinking that's a bit off. You know what I mean? So now what I want is this one to have like a margin left of about double what it's already got, I think, really. So if I look at that, those are like not too far away. And then those have got like a bit more of a chunk. And then there's a double amount of space there. So I'm going to say probably a little bit, just as a chunk over maybe. Right. So what I'm thinking, where are we? Margin left 24. So margin F6, let's give them margin right 8. Let's see what that looks like. Is that it? Maybe margin right 20. See, it looks mad when it's there though. Obviously, we can play with this because obviously we don't want it to be completely that. It's a bit, don't like the margin thing. Okay, so if we do gap, we could put something around these two and then set the gap for that, maybe. Let's take away the margins. How about this? Let's take away the margins from this. I've got an idea. Now we put these in a div, literally. So these two items are in the div. Now we go class equals flex. Okay. Oops. That's doesn't it? Flex. That's equals flex. And we say gap 20. Oh, not gap equals 20, sorry. That's not too bad. And now I want to nudge this over a little bit. Okay. So it's kind of these things here. And we got the logo here. And these. So maybe this one goes inside its own div as well, just for presentational purposes. Say flex. Yeah. Well, I'll do the gap in a minute. Let's get these to be flex first. It's a bit of a weird flex box type fun, but I'm just doing it live, doing a little play about, getting a feel for it as we go. Not doing much there. Now we say, okay, we're in a flex. Let's give a gap 10. Hmm, gap 8. There we go. So now we've got a gap 8 there. That's cool. This one, I don't know. I mean, obviously, when you get to a certain size, you do want to kind of go, okay, let's get rid of these. You know what I mean? You would kind of make it on. This is not going to be fully responsive because look at that. That's going to be like, whoop. That's a bit mad. Yeah. We've got a sticky nav, so it doesn't move. It stays there nicely. How cool's that? So at this point, I'd say we're in a semi-good position. We can play about with the higher me and stuff like that, but for now, that's the thing done there. I'm gonna take a quick break because it's getting time. So I think we'll do the next bits in the next video. So I think we're in a good space for a pause there, and take it from there. So that's basically the nav bar, the main sort of body and the general idea of what we want is pretty much there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.